The penthouse clock showed 3:14 a.m., but for Adil and Nadia, time had lost all meaning. Their newborn son, Amir, hadn't stopped crying for 72 hours. His tiny face was mottled red, his throat raw, his tiny fists trembling with exhaustion.
I've run every test. There's no infection, no structural abnormality. Medically, there's nothing wrong with your son.
Then explain the screaming. He hasn't slept. We haven't slept. He's suffering.
That cry, it's not colic. It's the wail of the desert that grandmother always described.
She abandoned her cart and pushed the door open without knocking. She leaned down to the crib and whispered a single word, a sound that didn't belong to any modern language. For one impossible moment, the screaming stopped. Amir's lips parted, and a tiny smile broke across his face. Adil and Nadia froze, their breath caught in their throats. Then the silence shattered. The crying erupted again, louder, more desperate, as if the brief peace had only sharpened the pain. The crying resumed, and Adil's hope shattered. He turned on the waitress who had dared to intervene.
Who are you? What did you whisper to my son?
Grandmother's voice, the desert wail is not a sickness. It is a call only our hands can answer. Let me hold him. My grandmother taught me a technique for this exact cry.
She positioned him in a cross-arm cradle, pressing a precise point between his shoulder blades. The crying softened to a desperate whimper, but it didn't stop. The full ritual was incomplete.
Please, don't leave us. I can't do this anymore.
Nadia's legs buckled. Adil caught her, but she was already beyond exhaustion.
I'll stay through the night. But the ritual, my grandmother's full teaching, I am not sure I remember it all. The word is a doorway. The hold is a key. But without the heritage anchor, nothing holds.
Through the dead hours of night, Catherine tried hold after hold, each one borrowed from a memory she could barely touch.
Grandmother said the word is a sequence, not a single sound. A rhythm like a heartbeat.
She adjusted the angle, 30 degrees, exactly as Zara had taught, and the baby's body softened for a few precious minutes. But the peace never held. The cry clawed back, rawer each time, and Amir's lips began to pale.
You keep saying you need something more. What is it? What are you missing?
A heritage anchor. Something from your bloodline, your mother's birth story, a family heirloom. Without it, the ritual can't hold.
My mother was born in a desert camp. My grandmother died when she was an infant. That's all I know.
His oxygen saturation is dropping. We're entering dangerous territory. I may have to intervene.
The monitor's beeping sliced through the room. Catherine's heart hammered. She had run out of time to struggle.
Grandmother, you never told me the last piece. What is the anchor? What ties the blood?
We can sedate him, but the risk is real. His respiratory system is already compromised.
Not yet. She came this close. I won't take that chance until we've exhausted every option.
Nadia broke. Her sobs joined the baby's wail until a nurse administered a mild sedative, and she finally went limp. Catherine slipped into the hallway, her phone already pressed to her ear, dialing the only person who might answer.
Grandmother, I need you. The baby, the cry is the desert wail. I used the word, but it won't hold. That child carries our blood. Catherine, you must find the birth story. The proof is there.
The line crackled and died. Catherine called back, but the signal was gone.
Our blood, that means. No, it can't be. How could a waitress be tied to a billionaire's bloodline?
She walked back into the nursery, her eyes searching for something she had missed in Adil's face.
If grandmother is right, then the anchor is here, hidden in this family's past.
Catherine faced Adil, her voice no longer that of a waitress but of a woman who carried centuries of secrets.
I need to see everything from your mother's birth. A photo, a letter, any record.
My mother's birth? I buried that past decades ago. Why does it matter now?
Because your son might die if you don't. The anchor is in your bloodline, I am certain.
Adil unlocked a safe hidden behind a painting and retrieved an old leather album. Catherine opened it with trembling hands. On the first page, a yellowed photograph stared back, a newborn, cradled by a midwife in traditional Bedouin dress. The midwife was young, her face unmistakable.
That's my grandmother. That's Zara, the woman who delivered me, and now your mother.
Your grandmother delivered my mother, my son. He carries your blood in a way I can't deny.
The truth was undeniable. An ancient Bedouin midwife had stitched their fates together before they could walk. Adil's face hardened. The shock curdled into suspicion. Had she manipulated him from the start?
You knew all along, didn't you? This was never about saving my son. It was about claiming a debt.
I swear on my grandmother's grave, I had no idea. I was as blind as you.
The cardiac monitor shrilled a warning, its alarm slicing through the accusation. Amir's oxygen level was plummeting again.
We don't have time for this. Whether you trust me or not, that baby needs the full ritual now.
The ritual required a 3-tone desert lullaby and a precise pressure point behind the infant's ear.
I've only practiced on dolls. If I misplace a finger on a real child, it could make everything worse.
Do it. Whatever you need. Just do it before I lose my son for good.
Catherine drew a breath that seemed to borrow from every midwife who had come before her.
Grandmother, if you can hear me, guide my hands now. Let the old blood remember.
Catherine drew Amir into the cross-arm cradle and pressed the precise point behind his ear, her thumb barely skimming the skin. She whispered the 3-tone desert lullaby, a sequence of sounds no modern ear could identify. The crying stuttered. Amir's rigid limbs went slack, and for 2 heartbeats, the room held silence. But the wail crept back, thinner and more desperate, as if the ritual had wounded the cry instead of killing it.
The charm. Grandmother never began without the embroidered charm pinned to the swaddle. I forgot.
The talisman was not decoration. It was the anchor that bound the blood to the words.
Your mother, did she leave anything? A charm? A piece of cloth? Anything she might have touched as an infant?
Adele's face flickered. A memory surfaced. His mother's small velvet box, stored in the hotel vault for decades. The vault was 30 floors below. The clock on the monitor showed Amir's oxygen slipping past the point of no return.
Get it now. Every second we wait, the thread between him and this world grows thinner.
Adil snatched his phone and barked orders. The vault was 30 floors down, but the clock was Amir's enemy.
Saturation is below 80%. If we don't act now, organ damage could start within minutes.
Catherine kept the hold, her fingers aching, her lips moving in silent prayer. The lullaby alone was a bridge with no far shore. 28 minutes later, the door burst open. A security guard held out a velvet box, his face pale and dripping sweat.
Open it. Please, let this be the key.
Catherine lifted the lid. Inside lay a tiny embroidered charm, its threads still bright with the colors of the desert.
It's identical to grandmother's. She must have made them as a pair, separated at birth.
With trembling hands, she pinned the charm to Amir's swaddle, right over his heart, where Zara had always placed it. The baby's cry faltered, as if the charm had stolen its voice. For a moment, there was only ragged breath.
Now the anchor is in place. Now the old blood can speak.
Catherine positioned Amir in the cross-arm cradle, the charm resting against his chest like a second heartbeat. She whispered the 3-tone lullaby, and the sound hung in the air as if the room itself was listening. The crying evaporated. Amir's entire frame slackened, and his breathing smoothed into a deep, steady rhythm.
Oxygen saturation is 99%. Respiratory rate, normal. He's breathing on his own.
Adil's legs buckled. He dropped to his knees beside the crib, his billionaire's composure shattering into silent sobs.
Is he really asleep? Please, tell me this isn't another false piece.
He's sleeping. For the first time in days, he's truly at peace. The battle is won, but the reckoning between our bloodlines is only beginning.
The room fell still, not empty, but weighted with a miracle no one could articulate.
The old blood had spoken, and now the new blood would have to listen.
Adele rose and crossed the room to where Catherine sat, her hands still trembling from the ritual.
Your grandmother was the midwife who delivered my mother. That photograph proves it.
She never named them, Adel. She only said her hands were known in the desert camps.
The weight of the coincidence settled over them like a shroud impossible to breathe away.
Our families have been tangled together since before I drew my first breath.
And now her charm holds your son to this world. I didn't plan any of this.
Adel stared at the charm, and something inside him shifted. A bolted door creaked open.
I spent my life running from the desert. Now its ways saved my son.
She saw the change in his eyes, and it scared her, a question she wasn't ready for.
He wants answers only grandmother can give. Am I ready to be the bridge between their worlds?
Adel paced, his mind wrestling with a heritage he had buried under concrete and stocks.
I'd built an empire to escape that life. And now, some ancient Bedouin word saved my son.
War scattered my path. I became a waitress to feed my family, not because my hands forgot.
The confession hung between them, raw and unpolished like an old lullaby.
Every night, I sent money home. I thought the midwife in me died a little more.
You are not just a waitress. You are a healer from a line of healers.
Healer. The word felt foreign on my own skin, but it carried the weight of truth.
Those 3 words cracked something open inside her, a door she had locked long ago.
Your grandmother healed my mother. You healed my son. That is not coincidence.
Perhaps I was never meant to be invisible. Perhaps the desert sent me here for this.
Adel faced her with a stillness that was more disarming than any command he had ever given.
I will fund your full midwifery training. Open a clinic named after Zara. Whatever you need.
That kind of wealth, it would change everything for my family. But grandmother never took payment.
The offer hung in the air, tethering her to a new life she hadn't earned.
I need time, Adel. A decision this heavy can't be rushed.
Adel withdrew a matte black card from his wallet and pressed it into her palm with a finality that brooked no refusal.
That card is tied to an account with no limit. Use it or don't. But you should never again have to choose between healing and survival.
The card sat in her palm, slender but weighted with the promise of a future she had never dared to draw.
This card could build a clinic, educate my siblings, honor grandmother. So why does accepting it feel like I am abandoning everything she taught me? Grandmother, your hands were never for sale. Show me what to do.
Catherine slipped into the quiet corridor, the black card heavy in her palm, and dialed the only voice that could untangle her conscience.
Grandmother, the baby carries our blood. There's a photograph, and now the father wants to fund my training, a clinic. Everything.
Our hands are for healing, not for sale. But the world has changed. Carry the knowledge forward in a way I never could. That is not betrayal, it is evolution.
Evolution. She's not telling me to refuse. She's giving me permission to adapt.
Zara's voice softened, carrying the weight of desert sands and decades of silent service.
Do not take a handout. Make the money a bridge between the old and the new, not a chain.
A bridge. I could use his offer to train others, to preserve our traditions, not for my own gain.
The idea took root. A midwifery initiative, named after Zara, funded not as charity, but as a legacy.
Thank you, grandmother. I know the shape of what I need to do. It won't be a handout. It will be a continuation. I'll make Adel see that his money can honor both our grandmothers and heal more than just one child.
Catherine re-entered the nursery, the black card now a talisman of choice rather than obligation.
I cannot take your money for myself. My grandmother's hands were never for sale. But if you truly want to honor her, and what saved your son, fund a program, train midwives in the old ways, where no hospital will go.
Adel stared, the simplicity of her request humbling him more than any demand.
Teach others, not just for yourself, but for the desert's children.
For every child whose cry no one else can hear. Zara's knowledge was never hers alone. It was meant to be carried forward.
Adel's resistance crumbled. This was not charity. It was the only gift that could unravel his debt.
We will call it the Zara Initiative. Her hands will touch 1,000 newborns she never met.
Tears spilled down Catherine's cheeks. Her grandmother's name, spoken in a billionaire's suite, would now outlast them all.
This charm, this moment, we have woven a thread strong enough to save many.
Catherine, I want you to be his honorary aunt. Visit him, guide him, let him know the hands that saved him.
Catherine's fingers brushed Amir's tiny hand, and the baby's sleeping grasp curled around her thumb.
I will. He carries the old blood now. It would be an honor to watch him grow into it.
This album, My Mother's First Days, will be the first artifact in the Zara Initiative's library.
The doctor quietly gathered his equipment, his departure unnoticed by the family as they gathered around the crib.
You've given us our son back. We can never repay that.
My shift ended hours ago, but leaving now feels like pulling a thread from this moment.
The morning sun cut through the curtains, washing the room in a peace that had been absent for days.
I should go. My grandmother would say the healer must know when to step back.
Before you go, take this. It belongs with you now.
Catherine pulled on her coat and caught sight of the leather album Adel had given her. She tucked it into her bag and walked toward the door, the couple following silently. They stopped in the small foyer, the air thick with unspoken words.
That first night, when you whispered that word, what was it?
She stilled, her hand on the doorknob. The question peeled back the last layer of mystery.
In our dialect, the word means return. It's what we whisper to remind a newborn they are safe, that they have come back to the right place.
She let go of the door and crossed to the crib. Bending low, her lips brushed against the baby's ear. She whispered the ancient syllable into his ear, so softly it might have been a memory. Amir's mouth stretched into a tiny smile, a sign of peace that needed no translation. Adel and Nadia held each other, tears glinting in the lamplight.
Goodbye, Amir.
She closed the door behind her and walked into the corridor. The echo of her footsteps, the only sound in the empty hall. The weight she had carried for years, the war, the poverty, the invisibility, suddenly felt lighter.
I am no longer just a waitress.
She stopped at a tall window overlooking the city. Outside, the sun was rising over Manhattan, painting the skyline gold. She pulled out the black card Adel had given her and held it up to the morning light.
This card could buy anything, but it will buy a legacy instead.
She didn't tear it up. She tucked it into her coat pocket, close to her heart, not for herself, for the Zara Initiative, for her grandmother, for the children who cried in the desert. Her stride was steadier than it had been in years, as if the corridor itself was leading her to a new beginning. The door to the staff locker room swung shut behind her, and the hotel resumed its quiet hum. In the staff locker room, Catherine unbuttoned her uniform blouse. The fabric that had held her invisible for years now felt like a costume she was ready to shed. A coworker from the kitchen passed by and asked about the crying baby they'd all heard about. Catherine only smiled.
The baby's fine. It was nothing.
She hung her bow tie and apron on the hook, the same routine she had performed 1,000 times. But today, the weight was different. She turned to the mirror and caught her reflection. The woman staring back had the same face but a different spine, straight, unapologetic.
This is what grandmother saw in me. A midwife who wears no uniform because the calling is in the hands.
She thought of her grandmother, of the generations of women who carried this knowledge in secret. Now it would have a name.
The Zara Initiative.
She walked out the employee exit and into the morning. The city air tasted like a clean page, unwritten but full of possibility. Catherine's footsteps echoed through the hotel's empty service corridor. As she reached the exit, her phone buzzed. One new message from Adel, a photo of Amir sleeping, the Bedouin charm gleaming on his swaddle. Below it, a single line, "He will grow up knowing your name." Her throat tightened so hard she couldn't swallow. She didn't blink, didn't move. After a long moment, she exhaled and tucked the phone back into her pocket as if it were a sacred relic. Then she pushed open the heavy door and stepped onto the street. The city was stirring. Early commuters, steaming vents, a pale sun climbing between glass towers. She lifted her face to the light, and for the first time in years, she felt completely seen, not as a waitress, but as the keeper of a knowledge that had just saved a dynasty. A quiet smile settled on her lips, the same smile Amir had given her in that first impossible moment.
Return.
Sometimes, a single word can bridge a century of separation. In a city that never sleeps, a waitress taught a billionaire that his greatest asset wasn't in his portfolio. It was in his blood, whispered by a woman who crossed oceans to bring life. In the nursery, the chaos had dissolved into silence. The medical equipment had been pushed against the wall. IV stands retired like soldiers after war. And in the crib, Amir slept, his chest rising and falling with the rhythm of a promise kept. On the crib rail hung the embroidered charm, its ancient threads swaying gently in the air conditioning's whisper. A silent guardian, woven by hands that knew more than any doctor ever could. The room held no memory of the tears that had soaked its walls for days. Only peace lingered, wrapped in the tiny threads of a heritage neither family would ever again forget. A gentle current from the air vent traveled across the nursery, and the charm on the crib rail began to sway. Its tiny embroidered threads caught the morning light, each stitch a witness to a secret older than pain. Catherine never asked for a reward. The only payment she accepted was a promise that little Amir would grow up knowing that his first smile was brought back by a woman who believed that old wisdom never dies. It only waits to be whispered. The threads, woven by Zara's hands in a tent under desert stars, seemed to gleam with a light of their own. For a long moment, the image held, a tiny talisman carrying the weight of two bloodlines. And then, as if sensing its work was done, the charm grew still. The nursery was silent, save for the soft, steady breath of a child who had finally come home. The camera lingered, then slowly pulled focus, leaving the charm alone in the warm light. The nursery dissolved into a soft, velvety black as the camera drew away, leaving only memory. For a long moment, there was nothing, no image, no sound, just the echo of a story told. Then, in the center of the screen, a simple white text appeared, as quiet as a secret. The Zara initiative launched 6 months later, training midwives in 10 countries. The sentence hung there, a quiet testament to a promise kept across oceans and generations. And as it faded, a whisper rose from the silence, fragile, ancient, and true.
Return.
It was the breath of a midwife, the weight of a grandmother's hands, the bridge between two worlds. The black screen held the word like a sacred vessel, and for a beat, the universe seemed to listen. Then, gently, the darkness swallowed even that, and the story was complete, leaving only silence.